Hi, teachers. So we just got the email from our enrollment team. So we're going to walk through the steps on how to document a transition plan for one of our students. Okay, so once you're here in ChildPlus, you can go all the way to the top left to services.
And then if your screen looks like this, you can click participants. Then you'll type in or click on whichever name for the student you're doing the transition for. So in this case, I'm doing it for John Test. So I'll click on his name. Okay.
All right, so then we go to the education tab.
Okay, education.
All right, once we're in there, we're going to go look at for the green button that says add event. Click on there, go all the way down to the transition plan event. All right, once we're in there, we're going to fill this out. So the scheduled date would be the date that the child will be transitioning.
I think it will be the date the transition is starting. So the day that you're doing the transition plan. So that would be today's date or whichever date you're doing this. So for example, today is the 20th. Okay.
And the event date also today, correct?
The event date is the day the transition is expected to take place.
Okay.
So we'll say
a month from now.
Yeah, we'll just a month. We'll say February 20th. So you click the calendar and go over to the 20th, and that is your event date.
Well, February 20th.
Right? Oops. February 20th. There we go.
Okay, we keep scrolling down where it says status. We hit the drop down. So on this case, it's a new process. So we're going to hit new. For the description, this child will be leaving early Head Start, going to Head Start. Okay. And the agency worker would be the teacher here. All right, for the close date,
we're going to leave that blank, and then you'll come back and fill that in once the transition is completed.
Yes. So we keep scrolling down, and event notes, you're just going to add anything. You can go back to it once you complete this part, but anything that you fill out that is going to be left out from the transition plan, here's where we're going to type it in. And you always are going to timestamp using the little clock up here. So always timestamp your notes.
And again, this will be specific to the situation and the transition for the child that you're documenting.
Okay, so then we keep scrolling down. And on here, the notes say that we are going to update throughout the transition phase. So anything you need to update, any activities, any new events, we're going to add to this transition plan up until February 20th, which is when the child is actually transitioning. So what is the upcoming transition and why is it occurring? So again, we're going to timestamp with our clock, and then leaving early Head Start to Head Start. And this case would be aging out. The student is aging out. Oops. Okay, the expected transition date. You click on the tiny calendar here, and it is the 20th, February 20th.
February 20th. It will be the same as the event date that you created up at the top. Okay.
Okay, and for the other section where it says updated transition date, you leave this one blank until the transition finishes, and this one could be past February 20th. That's why we leave it blank for now. Okay, so for the transition conference part, so that would be when the conference took place. And that date can be changed. It doesn't have to be the same date, but ideally it would be within the first week. So
The week of the 20th,
yes.
correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're just gonna leave the 20th here, but you would put it whenever you schedule your meeting. And like Jeanette said, ideally within the first week.
So participants in transition plans, and this would be anybody that attends, which would be the teachers.
Okay, first you're gonna timestamp.
Timestamp.
And then you can, for some reason it doesn't work on my computer, but if you want to do it quickly, you can type in TP and hit enter, and it should bring up a list of all the people that are going to be there. But okay, so it's going to be family members,
Mhm.
the current teacher, the
Mhm.
current family advocate, support staff, and details about who is designated as support staff is in the transition policy on ChildPlus. And then the future teacher. And of course, these are going to be the actual names of the staff when you're filling it out.
Okay, and then we continue scrolling down through the questions. The next one also go ahead and timestamp.
Okay.
And this asks what will be the changes in the environment for the new classroom. And this it can be for the staff, routines, activities. So in this case, that would be new peers.
This will just be any, again, this will be specific to your situation. So for example, we're putting in new peers. You could put in new peers. You could put in that there's going to be a new teacher, that maybe there's a different classroom routine, or that they do different activities than what they're doing in their current classroom. So this is just really what's specific to this child's situation and this child's transition.
And then we keep scrolling down in this transition plan to transition activities. And this activity should be individualized for each child or family. And then some to consider would be using pictures, having conversations, reading books, social stories. So in here, how is the current staff supporting the child's transition? Go ahead and timestamp. And this could be any way that the staff is supporting the child's transition. It could be reading a new book, or having conversations about their new teachers and their new peers.
And again, this is specific to your situation. So everything that you do to help the child through the transition is just what you would put in this box.
And then the ways the current staff will support the family's transition. And one example could be sharing community resources. Maybe they have younger children in the home. Maybe they need some resources in our community too.
Yep. And again, specific to your situation, whatever you do, whatever resources you give the family, you'll put in this box.
And then the next question, again, we're going to timestamp, and it's asking the ways the family will support the child's transition. And this can be like going on a tour to the new location, like touring the new school.
And again, it's going to sound very repetitive, but this is an example and it'll be classroom child specific to what you're doing for the transition process.
Okay, and so if we keep scrolling down, the first home visit scheduled, and this can be anytime. I know some teachers like to do it like right before school starts. It just it depends of the situation. But here we can put like the beginning of February if. And then staff attending would be the family advocates, the new teacher, and the family.
And this first home visit, you do this when a child is moving from to a different classroom but is staying within the same center.
So for the next question, the orientation meeting, and this is mainly for the family advocates. So this would be around the same date of the family meeting. Oh, sorry, the first home visit.
And this occurs when the child is moving, staying within the program, but moving to a different building. For example, they're staying within WNC Source, but they're moving from Etowah to King Creek.
And here present would be the family advocate and the family. Okay, so you would add any documents here that you know will help in the transition process? And then if you scroll down to the actions part, this is any referrals that you want to attach here. Any other information that you know was left out of the transition plan. You can document it on this part.
Yeah, just any additional notes that you don't think were covered in the previous information up in here.
And that is the first part of the transition plan. You would save it.
Let me make my screen bigger here. Well, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a save button. You'll click that, and then your transition plan has been documented and it's logged in ChildPlus. So now I'm just gonna exit this. We're gonna pretend we saved it. Dang it. Where did it? Are we not zooming anymore? Okay, we want to stop recording.